Welcome to Albuquerque Real Estate Talk 476. Tracy, it's mid-January 2024, and talking about real estate here in Albuquerque like we do every week. We are the Venturi Group with Real Broker, Tego and Tracy Venturi, and we have a big team of realtors here in town and specialize in residential real estate. So, Tracy, this week we've got the annual report for 2023, just some interesting takeaways there that we're going to cover. Some, what are the hottest markets, zip codes in town? What are the most expensive zip codes in town? We're going to talk about that.
That'll be fun.
There was big news last week we talked about was this $15,000 additional down payment assistance program. A little bit of an update on that. And then I've got some cost of living data that's actually really bodes well for Albuquerque. And then I wanted to talk about what's going on with rent. So that's on my list. I don't know what's on your list, but that's what my list is.
I'm going to talk about homes.
Of course.
Homes of the week and open houses. Big weekend for open houses.
Yeah.
Big weekend for football. So we're trying to also have open houses out there for some of you that really would prefer to go to open houses.
Your team and my team are in the playoffs this weekend.
That's right.
The Lions and the Chiefs.
Of course, I have like 3 teams. So luckily,
I know.
I'm also a 49ers fan now and a Viking fan and an Arizona fan. So of course, one of my favorite teams would be in.
It's been hard to be a Lions fan for the last 40 years, but they're there. I'm a Michigan guy, so I got to go for them.
There you
go.
All
right. Tracy, I got a draft of the annual report from the Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors, so I'm going to share it, even though it's not officially out yet. But I'm an influential and important person in the real estate community. So no, I'm just kidding. I was actually asked to take a look at it and make sure there were no errors in the data. But so take it away, Tracy. I think there's some interesting takes in here.
Well, so obviously 2023 was a challenging year, and that's pretty much what it says here. This opening statement is challenging year for U.S. housing market. Mortgage rates hit a 2-decade high. Housing inventory remained at historic lows. Sales prices continued to climb nationwide, putting homeownership out of reach for many consumers. Housing affordability remained a top concern for home buyers, which it is for our home buyers. And for good reason, mortgage payments are up significantly from 2022, with a number of homeowners now spending more than 30% of their income on monthly payment. As a result, sales of previously owned homes remained sluggish throughout the year, while the shortage of existing home inventory helped sales of new residential homes steady increase from last year, which we saw at Tego. New home construction. We have a lot of new home neighborhoods, a lot of great builders building new construction around the city. And the actual prices of those homes compared, like if you take a 2,000 square foot home in the Northeast Heights that's resale from the 1980s, and compare it to something that might be new, the price for new is going to be significantly more. So
right.
we know that with new home sales, it certainly in the mix lifts the average sale price up.
I've got a stat for that.
Here.
In general, new construction is, okay, these are all very general, but about 20% more per square foot, let's say. If you're measuring it per square foot of heated space of the house, it's going to be about 20% more. Again, those that's not one house compared to another, but that's in general, that's what it is. But of course, you're getting new. It's the new car, the new house smell, right?
Well, it's more than that, Tego. You're getting mechanicals that are probably not going to have a problem or need a dollar fix for 15, 20 years or more, right? You're getting that new water heater, the new roof, the new furnace, the new cooler, new everything, new appliances. So your cost to own that home over the next 15, 20 years should be a lot less than buying a house that's already 30 years old.
No nicks on the baseboards and no, chips on the countertops and anyway.
So just to kind of give a quick snap about the rest of the annual report.
The thing that was interesting in there, I just wanted to point out, Tracy, in that second paragraph, they talked about how interest rates obviously had an impact on people looking to buy homes because obviously when, interest rates, went up really double from 2022, but it also put a lot of people's selling plans on hold. People
Right.
just decided not to sell because they're locked into these beautiful low interest rates that they
Right.
got back in 20 and 21.
Exactly. So that's part of our housing shortage,
Right.
which is what that paragraph's about.
Yeah.
Pending sales were down 13.9% to 9,811 over last year, while closed sales were down 18% to finish the year at 9,757. So, that's still 9,757 homes that sold in our area,
Exactly.
but it's down.
Yeah. At one point, we peaked out at about 16,000.
Right. Home prices compared to last year, average median sales price increased 5.2% to 336,500 for single family detached. Home prices were up 4.5% compared to last year.
Okay, I got to comment on that. That's the median price was up 4.5%, but every tracker that I'm looking at that's actually doing a home price index where it's really trying to figure out, okay, if the exact same home sold 1 year ago, what would it be today? And that's more in the 7 to 9% is what we're seeing in appreciation in
Yep.
Albuquerque right now.
Yep.
Yeah, annualized.
Yep.
Annually.
And then year over year, the number of homes available for sale increased 8.8%. New listings decreased by 15.2% to finish the year at 11,778. Showing activity, which we love.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting data point that I watch all the time, because what we're able to see how many times homes are being shown, how many times they're being seen.
Right.
And it's an interesting data point.
Yeah. So showing activity was down in 2023 as higher interest rates obviously affected the number of homes for sale and the number of buyers buying. So there were 143,776 total showings reported by the showing services in our area. And it showed that it took 10 visits, 10 showings on a property before it would go into pending sale.
On average.
Which was down 9.1% from 2022. So,
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think that's an interesting data point, because, if you're a home owner and you're thinking of selling, you want to know, okay, how long is it going to take? Obviously, what's my price? But also, how many times am I going to have to show it? How much activity, people are going to have to come through my house before I get an offer? So
right.
On average, it's 10.
Yeah, on average, it's 10. Sales by price range, number of homes sold in the 200 to 275,000 range fell 32.1%. Now, no doubt that's because there weren't any available, or very few.
Very few of them.
Our price has gone up from there.
Yeah, I mean, we went from a median price of 250,000 just a few years ago now to at 350,000. So there's just fewer homes in those lower price points is all it comes down to.
And of those homes selling last year, sellers received on average 99.5% of their list price at the time of sale. So year over year decline of 1.4%, which means the year before houses were selling for over list price.
Yeah, in 2021, I think on average it was like 102% is what we were seeing.
Yeah, right. Interesting though, 99.5%. So we know that stat is at the time it goes pending what the price was. So it doesn't count if it had a price reduction first, which many of those may have had a price reduction. And then at the time it went pending what the price was, it was 99.5%. So anyway, a lot of interesting data coming out.
Let's do the top 5. Top 5 zip codes for home sales and the top 5 zip codes for home prices for 2023.
Can I get a drum roll,
it's like an
please?
award show, right? Yeah. So in home sales, this is the number of homes selling. And a lot of this has to do with the size in the number of homes in those zip codes. So number 5 was 87111.
For a number of homes sold?
Number of homes sold, and that was
87111, Far Northeast Heights.
Yep, Far Northeast. Yeah, 677. 87114.
Paradise Hills.
A little bit of North Valley. Our office is in
87114. A little bit of the North Valley and the West Side.
Yep. 87120 was number 2.
120 would be West Side.
Oh wait, I did that out of order. Number 3 was 87124. Sorry, I did it out of order.
South Rio Rancho.
Yeah. 87120 was number 2.
That's west side between I-40 and Paseo, sort of Taylor Ranch and all of those areas.
Yep, exactly. South. Yeah. And number 1 for home sales with 982 in 2023 was 87144.
I was thinking maybe. So that's North Rio Rancho. A lot of new home construction in 87144 contributing to that, I'm sure. Because we have Mountain Hawk and Broadmoor Heights and Vista and Trada. We've got so many new home neighborhoods in 87144.
So
so
that kind
number
of
of sales.
I didn't break it down by, new versus resale, but interesting. So number 1 zip code for home sales was 87144, North Rio Rancho.
Okay, top
which
5
is interesting because I remember when I first moved to New Mexico and I was actually living up in the Four Corners area, Durango area, and I'd drive down and you drive through, North Rio Rancho back, whatever it was, 30 years ago. It was not much out there. And look at it now. Yeah. A lot going on.
And still growing.
All right. So let's break down the most expensive zip codes in the Albuquerque area for 2023. And
do we guess, or are you just going to start at number 5?
Oh, we're going to go 5 and we're going to do some honorable mentions here. So number 5, we're going to count
highest prices of homes sold.
Highest prices in 2023 was Cedar Crest. So East Mountains area. And then the next was
what's the zip code? Do you have it?
I'm sorry. 87008
is Cedar Crest.
87008.
Interesting.
And then after that, we go to, there's actually 87008 and then 87113.
La Cueva School District area.
Yep, exactly. So
a little bit of the North Valley.
Yep, North Albuquerque basically, and far North Albuquerque. In both of those were at 445,000 was the median price in 2023. And then I jumped to number 3 because those were tied. So number 3 was 87043.
Placitas.
Yes, good job. See, I'm testing you on your geographic and zip code knowledge.
I feel like I'm being tested.
You are actually. Yes, you are. Placitas at 678,000 was the median price. Number 2. I'm sure you know what number 2 and number 1 are.
Okay. I'm sure what 87122 is in there and 87047. I don't know which order.
48.
87048?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Corrales.
Yes. Yeah. So number 2 was Corrales, 87048.
At what price?
689,000 was the median price. And then
87122?
Always 87122 comes in as the most expensive zip code in Albuquerque area at 726,000. So that's North Albuquerque acres.
Yeah, larger lots, custom homes.
Sandia Heights, north of High Desert, but all of that up against the mountain.
Which reminds me, when we went to 87111, that does include High Desert. So that's part of that zip code. It's more kind of mid-north, northeast Heights.
Right.
Of Albuquerque.
Yeah. So other ones are 87111, like you said, 87068, which is Bosque Farms.
More land,
87059, Tijeras. 87015, Edgewood.
I thought you were going to say 047, which would be Sandia Park. So
no, that's on the list too. And those are all, but the thing that they all have in common, all of those areas, there's lots of custom homes, very, high concentration of custom homes, larger homes, especially when you think about North Albuquerque acres and Sandia Heights and Corrales and Placitas.
Custom homes on larger lots, typically. You've got Corrales, you've got, Sandia Park, Cedar Crest, Bosque Farms, which is very close to a lot of, downtown, all the hospitals, the UNM area. So I can see, how the home price is there because they are typically larger lots.
And then I forgot, I didn't do the other. What are the more lower price zip codes? And there's too much data here for me to just pull it out right now. But I know. We'll do that next time.
All right. Okay. Sounds good. That's good, Tego.
Yeah, it's it's interesting. We go into 2023 in a interest 2023 in 2024 with very similar to what we were dealing with in the beginning of 2023, which was low inventory, high interest rates, and buyer demand, but buyer demand that's challenged because they're not finding what they need, or they're just limited. So very similar to last year, 2023, at the beginning of the year. Tracy, I wanted to talk about this. I lost it here. The rent prices. We talk about what's going on with home prices all the time, and we're saying, okay, home prices are up 7-8% from last year. But I wanted to give an idea. Albuquerque has shown up on a couple lists recently for investors that are investing in real estate, multifamily in particular, so apartment buildings. And so Albuquerque has shown up on some lists as a good market to invest in real estate, which I found interesting. I've got all these searches set up to trigger Albuquerque real estate housing. And so I've seen this now a couple places. And the reason that Albuquerque is looked at as a good market for real estate investors is the rental market is strong and is staying strong, and the belief is that the trend's going to continue to be strong. Just to give you an idea, rent prices in Albuquerque went up 8% from last year.
Wow.
Yeah. So your average rent for a 3-bedroom is now $2,050. Average rent for a 2-bedroom.
Is that for an apartment or for a house? Do you know?
That is, let me break it down. Let me tell you. That's all unit types. It doesn't,
types.
it doesn't break it down. So what it's saying is, on average, a 2-bedroom rental in Albuquerque, could be apartment, could be
2
house.
or 3.
2. Just I'm doing 2 right now, is about just shy of $1,500 a month. But a 3-bedroom is just over $2,000.
Big difference.
Most 3-bedrooms are going to be homes, though, in our market. We have some, but we don't have as many 3-bedroom apartments.
I know I did a search not long ago for a client moving here that wanted a place until they found the home to buy. And I was looking at, they wanted a 3-bedroom, and I know it seemed like the prices of the apartments for 3 bedrooms were significantly more than $2,050, but they were looking, at those new apartments at Paseo, Wyoming, kind of up in that corridor, and they were more than that.
Well, there's a lot of apartments, under construction. We see it all over town. And,
there are.
Speaking of, right there at the transfer center up at North Albuquerque.
Like San Pedro and Paseo?
Yeah, well, San Pedro, north of Alameda.
North of Alameda, right.
Yeah, up there. There's
a lot going on, a lot of construction, yeah.
There's a lot of multi-unit, as
all over the city, though. We've seen apartments going up, so we need them.
Yeah. Tracy, you had some homes of the week you wanted to go over?
Do, thank you. So a house I want to talk about is in Los Lunas. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath on Canal Boulevard, and it's listed at $550,000, new on the market this week. Get online, Google it. If you're interested in something in Los Lunas, we have Los Lunas area experts on our team that can help you. So call us at 448-8888 if you're interested in Los Lunas or any other area. We'd be happy to help you. This one's 1015 Canal Boulevard Southwest in Los Lunas, a very nice single family home on a ½ acre in a much loved area of Los Lunas, very proximate to the freeway. And it's a neighborhood that typically when houses come up there, they go quickly. In addition to that home of the week, we have a lot of open houses this weekend. I suggest jumping on our website, welcomehomeabq.com, and go to the open house tab. But just for homes that we represent, we have a lot of open houses tomorrow or Saturday, Sunday, right? Calle Barbarita in the North Valley will be open. 60 Camino Vega Verde, very, very south end of Corrales, will be open on Sunday. 2147 Rivers Edge in Rio Rancho will be open both Saturday and Sunday. A nice single-story house, that is. 1009 Bareilles is open Saturday afternoon. That's the one that's pink For
Yes.
those of you who have seen it, I know Eddie had mentioned it as the Barbie house. It's a completely renovated property at 1009 Borellis. And it was done specifically for someone who wanted pink stucco in the remodel. And then that person ended up not needing a house. So it's for sale and it's so cute. I love it. So that one's also open. Also, we have 729 Montano Boulevard right next to St. Michael's and All Angels Church.
Oh, yeah.
It's open on Sunday from 12 to 3. So that one will also be available. A great little location and nice property there. So those are just some of the open houses this weekend.
And we have some in the pipeline as well that we can't, really talk about our market yet. So if you are looking for something and you want to get on our list of homes that are coming, just reach out to us. We're the Venturi Group at Real Broker, and we're at 505-448-8888.
Yep, for sure. We do have, people on the team that are living in all parts of the city. So sometimes we have area experts, but in general, we're all pretty much experts these days with the tools we have and the experience we have. So we'd love to help you, whether you need to have help buying or selling. And if you know somebody who should be a first-time home buyer, it might not be you, but it might be your child or a friend or somebody you know that should be a first-time home buyer but thinks they can't qualify or they don't have enough down payment. Tego, there's a solution for that.
There is. Did you want to talk about the $15,000
Yeah,
program?
the Mortgage Finance Authority of New
Yeah.
Mexico has money available, right, to help people, first-time buyers. If you haven't owned a home in 3 years, you're considered a first-time buyer. And there's money for your down payment and there's money for your closing costs in a special program right now.
Yeah, so there's a program. We've talked about it already, but I want to talk about it again just because it's so much going on with it and there's so much buzz around it, because the New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority has this program called First Down Plus, where they're giving you, not giving, let me rephrase that. They're
Letting you use
they're giving you $15,000 to use. How
as
about
your
that?
down payment.
As your down payment. It's not a grant. Toward your down payment on your house. That's over and above their other program, which is a second mortgage. The catch on this is that we're learning is it is a third mortgage. So you've got your standard mortgage, you've got your second mortgage, which is your standard, down payment assistance program from the MFA, and now you have this third mortgage, which is a $15,000. There's no interest on it. It just
doesn't add to your monthly payment.
You don't pay on it. It just sits there. And if you sell before you qualify for
Forgiveness,
which is 10 years in the home, you have to pay it back. Well, what we're learning though is to qualify for a property where you take a third mortgage, your debt to income ratios have to be in really good shape. So it's a little definitely harder to qualify for this program than we were first led to believe. So I just wanted to put that out there. But still, if people know anybody that's looking for a program to help them with their down payment, it's a great option for folks.
right?
And we do have a few people on it, working through the closing right now on it, and they're, it's going to go great. So,
yep.
Just wanted to bring that one up again. Okay, Tracy, I you know how I am about market data and stats and information. I wanted to talk about affordability in Albuquerque. We talk about affordability in housing and how Albuquerque compares to a lot of other markets, like the markets we could compare to, like El Paso and Tucson, and of course the Phoenix market a lot. And we do, and we're in pretty good shape in housing. I mean, comparatively, but we
Right.
know it's bad. We know it's bad, but it's better, right? That's what we
Right.
always say.
Better than a lot of areas. Better than most.
But I've got some data here from RentCafe, and they're looking at how does the Albuquerque area compare on other things. So what they're saying, our housing, either buying or rent, is 13% lower than the national average.
Yay.
They're saying that monthly utilities are 6% lower than the national average, that food is 2% lower, that healthcare is 8% lower.
Hmm.
Transportation is 8% lower, and I'm not sure if they're including, fuel cost in that. Must be, because
Our fuel is very affordable
yeah,
compared to a lot of places.
our fuel costs are great compared to many places.
Mhm.
And then goods and services, it says, is 4% lower. So, it's interesting to know that. I know eh, people like to talk bad about the communities they live in. It's everywhere, right? It's not just here, it's everywhere. Everybody wants to always just point out the bad. And, of course, we've got our challenges, no doubt about it. But I thought I'd bring some good news that there is reason. And
That
then,
is good.
and there's another thing that's going on that's kind of out there, and you and I have talked about it, Tracy, is this insurance. There's been a lot of news about homeowners insurance and how much it is going up, especially in coastal markets, in
Wildfire markets.
wildfire markets, and places that are susceptible to natural disasters.
Right.
We're not.
Hurricanes. We're not. But our rates are impacted.
Our rates have gone up. There's no doubt about it, but not like Florida,
California,
or Louisiana, or some of those areas, mountainous areas of California. Our rates they've gone up, but not as much as others.
I think, though, when we talk to insurance agents around our area, they say we are being impacted because of those other states, though. Our rates are going up to help offset other areas where they've had a lot of losses.
I don't remember the numbers, but I did hear the number for like Florida, and it was just jaw-dropping how much money has been had to basically paid in claims in Florida over the last whatever years. It's huge.
You would think, Tego, at some point that would trickle down to more relocation to areas like New Mexico, where, if I went right now and I wanted to buy a second home in Florida, I would go and I would look at all the costs in addition to purchase and go, I don't think I want to take that on and get insurance. I wonder how many people relocate and they haven't looked at those extra costs before they dig into home ownership as a place, whether it's a first home or a second home or whatever. And then they realize afterwards what the extra costs are, whether it be utilities or insurance or something else.
The number one claim in New Mexico, or the high dollar claim in New Mexico for homeowners, is, the answer.
I was going to say hail.
It is.
Hail damage on the roof.
Yeah, hail damage is the biggest one. And what's happening is a lot of the policies now are starting to put a little extra, I don't know what the right word is, basically saying, limiting coverage for roofs, because roofs is the big one for sure.
So check your policy, huh?
It's not hurricanes.
Yeah.
It's not, wildfires, at least not in, central New Mexico. I know northern New Mexico, in the mountains has had some issues.
Well, Manzanos have had some fires,
true.
right?
Yeah,
so we've had some in central. Interesting, though, but I would say check your policy.
Yeah.
Make sure you've got the coverage you need.
Yep, for sure.
Okay.
So we appreciate everybody who listens and tunes in. Episode 476. And we're happy to keep doing this. And if you've got any questions about real estate in Albuquerque, how do people reach us, Tracy?
Best way, 448-8888. Of course, we're in the 505.
505. And we're the Venturi Realty Group with Real Broker here in Albuquerque.
Have a great day.